Mint Hill Toastmasters meeting where we rock, flow, and grow. Woohoo! Dylan Hales is our president, so we thank him for all that he does for the club. And I just want to remind everybody to silence your cell phones so we don't interrupt any of the speakers. And at this point, I'll turn it over to today's Toastmaster, Mr. Ted Wilson.
Newlywed Ted, oh my goodness. Okay, before I start, maybe I got a rant. Has nothing to do with Toastmasters, but I'm a rant. I have been an Android fan for the past 15 years. And the other day, my phone stops. It stops working because Microsoft Outlook cannot stay on the phone. And the past 10 years, my family's like, we want you to get an iPhone. I was like, I'm not going to get an iPhone. That's what I did.
Got an iPhone.
iPhone. And I am struggling. It's like I've called 911 on accident. I've had so many different people. No idea what is going on. I think I'm tech savvy, but that has nothing to do with that. So welcome to our show today. Today, I chose the theme as living life to the fullest. And there's a ton of reasons why. I mean, I was thinking of Dylan's speech the other day when he had surgery. And one of the things that came to mind was the fact of appreciating having Toastmasters. So I thought that was awesome. And so for me, it made sense of like living life to its fullest. Well, you may ask, like, what does it mean living life to the fullest? Well, when you dedicate yourself to living life to the fullest, you feel like you can accomplish anything. And one thing about Toastmasters, it allows us to get better at speaking and impromptu. And for me, that's a good thing. It makes you feel as though you can accomplish anything because we're all here for a reason. But each day is an opportunity for greatness, and you feel fresh and ready to find it's amazing what a little positivity can do for anyone. So I want to leave you with that. Living life to the fullest means that you're in tune with yourself as well, too. I think that's something that is huge. So before I did say so pretty loud. Before I get into our speaker, which I'm really excited to hear about this speech today, I wanted to give you some pointers on some good things and bad things, but you can relate it to the fact of living life to the fullest. And I think a lot of us have done some of these things. One, accidentally sending a text to the person you're talking about.
Oh, that's.
I know we've done that a lot. I see Lima over there shaking her hands like, ooh, that is me all day. Lowering the music on your car stereo so you can see better.
Hey, that don't work?
No, it doesn't work. Searching for your phone while holding it in your hand. Yes, that last one, walking to the bathroom when you wake up, but ending up in your closet. Never say never. Yeah, never say never. So before I introduce our speaker, I wanted to give kudos to the actual members, the officers that are in attendance. I know our Sergeant at Arms who stepped in, Scott, introduced Dylan as our president, but also wanted to say, I know we got Valencia on here as well too, so wanted to give her a round of applause as Vice President. Scott, Vice President of Membership, please give him a round of applause and stepping in there. That's awesome. Yours truly, Secretary. I got bullied to do that, so don't clap because I did not agree to that. And it's on here, and I've got to address it. Immediate past President Vicki Johns. Okay. I'm excited about this speech today because it's speech number 1. And we all remember that time when we had that first speech. It's exciting. It's exciting to see not only stepping out of that comfort zone, but stepping into growth as well, too. I need to back up. Oh, we need to do the role. Well, I thought I was doing all the roles. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Well, let me go back and I'll introduce the actual roles for today. Let's see who we have for the roles for today. Scott, would you like to come up here today and tell us about what your role is for today?
Yeah, definitely. Be happy to. Thank you, Ted. Timer today, it's my job to time all of the speeches, the prepared speech, as well as the table topics. And then I just hold up red, yellow, and green flags to let people know that they have met their time or that they've gone over their time. And then later I will report and give everyone the times. Thank you, Ted.
Now, I don't have this in front of me, but I want to say, Dylan, are you the general evaluator? Grammarian. Okay. You want to come up and let everybody know what your role is for today?
Ted, let me tell you what, my role is going to be your worst nightmare. We already have a so, an okay, an I don't know. What are we doing? Man, y'all are all in store. I will give you extra credit, though, if you use my word of the day. I saw that your theme was living life to the fullest. When I think of that, I think of a pristine lifestyle, a pristine day at the beach, if you will. The word pristine, I don't have a definition for it. I just used it in a sentence. I think you get the idea that it means something that is in clean and tip-top condition. Thank you, Ted.
Pristine might be cousin to Christine. Look how I just used that word right there. Table topics. Ms. Valencia, you want to tell everyone what your role is for today?
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. As Table Topics Master, I will lead us in impromptu speaking. And this is kind of a situation where you'll roll the dice. You'll pick a number from 1 to 7, and I will give you a question that's in line with our theme for today. So I'm really excited to hear what you all have to say. This will give you an opportunity to work on your elevator speech, or when someone asks you a question and you have to think about it, you don't have time to prepare. And this is something that we do in Toastmasters that I think a lot of people enjoy. Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Lamima, you want to tell everyone what your role is today as the general evaluator?
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. I am the general evaluator today. I'm going to do my best to provide feedback on the role is to provide feedback on everything that takes place in the meeting and give some feedback on those who have not already been evaluated in the meeting. Thank you so much, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Okay. Wait a minute. First evaluator, Ms. Vicki Johns, is going to come up and let her know what her role is.
This is exciting because see, I didn't have a role today, and I was just going to sit back and be quiet. Well, wait a minute. I was just going to sit back. Okay. I don't know about that be quiet part. Anyway, I'm trying though. I'm trying to be quieter. But DeAndre must have had something come up and hasn't made it. So Dylan asked me to be the speech evaluator, which I gladly consented to, because that means I don't get called on for table topics, Valencia.
Actually, DeAndre's here.
I'm here. Sorry, had a
Oh, dang. Where are you?
good. No, I had the issue with a tenant last fire I had to put out, so I couldn't.
Oh, okay. So you're going to, dang. Thanks, Valencia.
Well, ask him if he would be willing to do it.
Do you want to do it since you
I
were
can do it.
assigned the role? Okay. Yeah, we'd love for you to do it. We didn't know you were on there. But anyway, what DeAndre is going to do is he's going to give Jake some good feedback. This is Jake's icebreaker. So DeAndre, be a little bit nice to him. You know what I'm saying? But give him some good feedback for what he can work on. Okay. Thank you. Oh, God.
Valencia, you have Vicki in here shaking in her boots right now as far as like not wanting to answer a table topics. Here we go. First speech,
Yeah.
exciting. We all have been there before when it comes to getting that first speech. So this is something that, again, you see so much growth. You see so much getting out of that comfort zone. This is huge, having that first speech. Jake Barbie, introduction speech. This is his icebreaker, 4 to 6 minutes long. Jake is giving his first speech from the Presentation Mastery Manual icebreaker. This foundational project is designed to introduce Jake to the club and skills he needs to begin his Toastmasters journey. The purpose of this project is for Jake to introduce himself to the club and learn the basic structure of a public speech. 4 to 5 minutes long. This speech will be his first speech that is given at Toastmasters. His goal is to tell a little bit about himself, why he joined Toastmasters, and his background, and to focus mainly on all the events that have changed in the past 5 years for his life. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Great question. That's a question that is often asked in job interviews. Jake's life definitely went through a lot of change in the past 5 years. Please help me welcome up to the stage for his first speech, Jake Barbie.
Toastmasters. Well, for anyone who hasn't met me, my name is Jake Barbie. I work for Union County Soil and Water Conservation District in Union County, and I've been working there since January of 2021. And I've decided today for my speech, I would give you a quick overview of who I am and where my background is, but I wanted to focus on the last few years of my life because that's been the most eventful and interesting story. But I'll tell you a little bit about me first. I grew up in Southern Anson County. I still live in Southern Anson County, just outside of Wadesboro. My parents, when I was about 4 years old, my parents quit their full-time jobs and built a commercial turkey farm where we produced turkey eggs commercially that would go to hatcheries, and those eggs would be hatched to go to the grocery. They would be grown into meat birds that you would buy for, like, Butterball brand turkey, Thanksgiving turkeys, sandwich, all that sort of stuff. So if you've ever bought turkey at the grocery store, you've probably had one of our birds. We don't do eggs anymore. We grow the toms out to full weight now, and they go to market for human consumption. So there I went. But I said I wasn't going to say so. I did. So I began my career in 2013 after I graduated from Montgomery Community College. I graduated with a degree in forest management. My original plan was to work for North Carolina Forest Service. I wanted to be one of the forest rangers driving the pretty green truck around and fighting forest fires and helping landowners out with planting trees and whatnot. But when I graduated, the job market wasn't the best yet. And I had a job offer from the Forest Service in Cabarrus County, but they offered me a whopping $27,000 a year. And I had another possible job in Anson County with Soil and Water, and it offered a significant amount more money. And that came open. I accepted that position and didn't have to move. I got to stay in my home county. I was a homebody. I didn't like going anywhere. And it worked out great. And I would end up working there for 7 years. So fast forward to 2020, Union County opens up they create a new position for Soil and Water in their department, doing pretty much the same thing I already did. I applied for it and accepted that position. And I currently work there. Upon taking that job, they asked me, would I be willing to take a public speaking class? And I said, sure. I've had public speaking in college, but I'll be glad to do what you need me to do. Well, our board chairman, Alan Balcom, looks at me and says, well, you need to sign up for Toastmasters.
Hey, Alan.
I said, what is Toastmasters? I've never heard of that. So I Googled it. I found the nearest chapter, read up a little bit, and there was a number there for Vicki Johns. And I called the number, and she answered and graciously invited me to come attend a meeting. And the first meeting I ever came to, I've never been so confused in my life. It took me about 3 meetings to figure out the flow of things, but now it's perfectly normal.
Well,
So speaking of job interviews, they will ask you, and I was asked this at my Union County job interview, where do I see myself in 5 years? I said I would see myself in soil and water at the time. Well, let's go back 5 years. I was working in Anson County when I was in 2016. I was 23 years old. I moved out on my own. A family friend had a house that was vacant. They said, you can just come live there and pay the utilities. We won't charge you rent. If you'll just be the caretaker of the home. I said, sure. So I got out on my own. About a year later, I bought a brand new vehicle. Life was good. I lived on my own. I could do whatever I wanted, whenever I wanted. I was literally living life to the fullest. I could go fishing whenever I wanted to. I answered to nobody, and life was good. So one day I was mowing the yard, and I noticed my neighbor was mowing the yard at the same time. When there's a long driveway that separates our yards, and I'm on a zero turn mower, and I'm mowing the edge of the driveway. Well, here comes my neighbor mowing. Well, this time it was not my usual neighbor. It was a woman driving a lawnmower, a very pretty woman. I'm driving along, and as we come together, we get close and just kind of throw my hand up and wave, and the woman literally looks at me and goes, and just turns and just drives off. I was like, okay, not the reaction I wanted. And I became curious about her. And I started seeing her around more because our houses were literally 100 yards apart. Well, come to find out, it was my neighbor's daughter who had moved home from the mountains to take a teaching position. And I became more and more curious. Well, this probably a year went by through all this. Well, finally we crossed paths a few more times, and I eventually asked her on a date. And after that, we pretty much saw each other every day, and we ended up going into a very serious relationship. And 2 years later, I proposed to her and asked her to marry. And I'm sorry, I lost track of where I was going. So we will go back 2 years now, and that's really where life began changing. Once I proposed to Catherine, we got married 5 months later. We wanted to fast, but it was in 2020. We thought surely the pandemic will be over by December. It's already been 6 months. This thing will be in the wraps. It got worse in 2020. So that was a nightmare, but we wanted to go ahead and get married. I was in my late 20s. Catherine was in her early 30s. We didn't want to drag this process out. And I was thinking, oh my gosh. And meanwhile, I was looking at applying for a new job, and there was so much going on. And as a homebody, I'm very settled in my ways. I found somewhere where I was comfortable, did not want to move. Well, we get married. 2 weeks later, I start my new job. I quit my first job, my first career job ever of 7 years, and I go to a new county. Okay, well, that wasn't bad. I knew some of the people there, same job, doing just new location. 3 months later, we find out we're going to be parents.
Oh my God.
And that's really where life changed. I wouldn't say I panicked, but I was scared. This is something I have no clue about. How am I going to raise a child? I know nothing. I'm an only child. I didn't have siblings. I don't know anything about babies or anything. But to be honest, that all became very natural. Finn was born December 6, 2021, 2 weeks before our 1 year anniversary. Wow. So when I'm not taking care of Finn and doing my fatherly duties, I get a little bit of time to go out and take care of my garden or go fishing. I have not caught a single fish this year, so I've got to change that. I don't have as much free time as I used to. But to conclude on this, I could elaborate more on all the topics, and eventually, as I do more speeches, I'll tell you more and more about my other hobbies and things that I'm involved in, but I can't cover it all today. But if you had asked me where I see myself in 5 years, it would have looked a lot different than I'd imagined. I probably would. Had I imagined myself, I would probably still been single, living where I live, doing whatever I want. But fate takes a different course. But one thing is for certain, you never know what lies around the corner. And don't be afraid of change.
Woo! Love is in the air. Lawnmower, that's what I'm talking about right there. Hey, how you doing? And just started from cutting grass. I love it. Jake, good job. Good job. That first speech is always the hardest one. And I think you did a really great job on executing that speech. So with that said, I'm going to bring up our timekeeper, Scott Davis. You want to come up here and give us the times on the speech, please? Sure.
That speech was 7 minutes and 45 seconds.
That's good, because I don't know if you heard online, but Vicky said her first speech was how long? 9 minutes? 9 minutes. Imagine that. Okay, so now before I go to table topics, I'm going to go back to some of the things I researched that I found out as far as things that we do good and bad, that we still live our best life on. This next one, and I think this one probably hits home a lot. Buying a week's worth of fresh vegetables and not eating any of them. Dancing by yourself in the kitchen. I think we all do that. But you live your life to the fullest when you do that. Checking your symptoms on your internet and convincing yourself you're on death's door. You do that too. Pretending not to be disappointed when you get a birthday card without any cash in it.
Oh, yeah.
Living your life to the fullest. Table topics. This is going to be fun. Ms. Valencia, I'm going to pass it to you so you can get the party started on table topics.
Thank you. I have a question about this because I think we only have 3 people who didn't have speaking roles. Is that right? Or can I pick on more than that?
Well, I guess you just have to start with.
Yeah, that's true. Vicky's probably the only
Well, you
one.
can still call.
She
on
hadn't
it.
stopped talking since she got here.
Her first speech was 9 minutes, so I think she can go first and
Okay.
talk for 2.
Valencia, it's your world.
All right. Vicky, will you please come up to the microphone and lectern? While you do that, please think of a number from 1 to 7. Pick a number from 1 to 7.
7.
7. Vicky, who
I was
are
at the
the
deck meeting
what'd you say?
last night. And you got talked. I was at the deck meeting last night, and you got talked about a lot. I don't try to change the subject.
You don't scare me, Vicky. Number 7. Who are the main 3 people who are the main 3 people a person who lives life to the fullest needs? Who are the main 3 people a person who lives life to the fullest needs, and what do they do for them? So our theme is people who live life to the fullest. Who are the main 3 people that person needs, and what do they do for them?
Can I choose another number? Well, actually, exactly. See, actually, she would have asked me while I was given the question. Well, she can't do that because we have to pick a number. But ordinarily, you use that time walking up to the lectern as your thinking time. But the person that I think lives life to the fullest that I know is me. You know, I used to tell my husband that before he died, and I didn't kill him either. Valencia. And I don't know if his mom had a gun or not, but I'm just living life the best that I can. And Scott's talking about me, and that makes me nervous. And Dylan's laughing.
I said he probably killed himself.
No, the drugs killed him.
Oh, sorry.
He was addicted to opioids. Yeah, but he had a lot of medical issues. But anyway, life killed him. But we were married for 17 years, and I always had a good time, and I'm going to have a good time. But the 3 people that you need to live life to its fullest, right? The first, this is easy, Scott. The Trinity, God, Jesus, and the Holy Spirit. Hey, that works, doesn't it? Because that that's what changed my life from party girl back in 1998 when Jesus finally caught me and slapped me down and said, now you can start living your life to the fullest. And that's what I do. Praise God. Thanks, Cynthia.
Thank you so much, Vicky. I've never heard of Jesus smacking somebody down, but you know what? It works.
Oh, yeah.
All right, Scott, I know you're the timer, but you can hand those over to somebody else so that you can go next, please.
I can use my phone right here.
All right, and I'd like for you to pick a number 1 through 6 since Vicky picked 7.
All right, let's do number 1.
Number 1, Scott, when a person lives life to the fullest, what does a day in the life look like? When a person lives life to the fullest, what does a day in the life look like? Scott, thank you.
You know, okay, this is a really difficult question for me in one sense. There's so many definitions, okay? Like for instance, my father-in-law and mother-in-law, he's a pastor and his wife, and they go out and they just find people and they minister to them. So for them, that's how they spend their life. You know, they just look for people that are hurting. They don't beat them over the head with the Bible or anything like that. They develop a relationship with them, and they try and meet their needs wherever they're at. And so, and they might occasionally take care of their children if there's doctor's appointments and things like that. So for them, that's living life to the fullest. You know, but then I have another friend of mine who is a wealth advisor for Wells Fargo. And he is getting ready to get on a plane and go to Peru and be dropped up in Machu Picchu for a trek without a cell phone for 2 weeks. And for him, that is living life to the fullest. So, and I can see both of them. He's involved in church too, but he's a lot younger. You know, my in-laws are mid-70s and he is probably mid-40s. So I think living life to the fullest can be a different thing on a different day. And you can still be true to yourself and, you know, and living that pristine life all along the way. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. You gave us 2 examples of people who you think live life to the fullest. So thank you. We appreciate that. Now let's see if I could call on Dylan, Mr. Grammarian. Dylan, I'd like you to pick a number between 2 and 6, please.
3.
Number 3, Dylan. Dylan, do you believe you can be both a minimalist and live life to the fullest? Why or why not? Dylan.
That's an excellent question, Valencia. If you've taken the time to get to know me, you may have found out by now that I am a minimalist. I don't believe in possessing a lot of things. I don't think that things are what bring us joy in life. And for that reason, being a minimalist means that you're actually unlocking the key to living a pristine, full life. The secret behind minimalism is to become aware of what it is that we actually need. And a really easy example is to think about your home. How many rooms in your house do you think you actually frequent on a daily basis? When I come home from work, I pull the car into the garage, that's 1 room. I walk in through the front door into our lobby, that's 2. Go to my bed or my bedroom, take my clothes off in a bedroom closet. Of course, got to use the bathroom, so that's 5 rooms. and I may venture out to the kitchen to grab a snack or dinner. So I use all of 6 rooms in my house. Do you know how many rooms in the house we actually have? We have a living room. We have 2 spare guest bedrooms. I don't know what goes on in there. We've got a back deck. And I guess we have a dining room. So we have a total of 11 different rooms. If you want to count the attic and the shed out back, you can add in a couple of extra rooms. Rooms we never touch. 6 of the 13 rooms are actively being used on a daily basis, with most of them just really taking up space. We have a 1,500 square foot house, not incredibly big. So imagine my problem or your problem if you think about how much larger your home is than that. That's only one example. And when you start to extend that out to my wife's clothes, the number of clothes that she has, that she shouldn't, that she doesn't need, things start to add up fairly quickly. How many cars sit in your driveway that you may touch only occasionally? Things of that nature. And I think that the more that we can learn to share resources effectively, what I mean is my father-in-law needs to let me use his tools more often, so I don't have to go buy one tool that I use once in my life. The better off we'll be as a community, the more minimalistic we can live our lives, which in turn gives us a fuller, broader, more well-lived life all the way around. Thank you, Valencia.
Thank you. Thank you. Do I have time for one more?
Oh, sure.
You have time for one more.
Thank you. Lamima, will you please pick a number either 2, 4, 5, or 6?
4.
4. Lamima, if a full life could be compared to an animal, what animal would you choose and why?
Wow, good question. Thank you, Valencia, for that question. So living life to the fullest, what animal would I think would be living that life and why? Probably, I would say a cat, because cats have a personality where they, if you own a cat, I don't own any cats, I don't have any pets, but they tend to run things. They are sort of the queen or king of the house, and everyone caters to them. They go wherever they want to go. They go out when they are ready. They go to, they just have freedom to do the things that they want to do and go out and come in as they please, and they tend to take charge of, they actually run life for you. You're really you wonder if you are the owner, if they are the owner of you. So probably a cat, I think, would be one of the animals that would definitely live life to the fullest. Thank you, Valencia.
Thank you so much, everyone who participated in Table Topics today. I know that it was a little bit of a challenge with this theme and some of the questions, so I appreciate all of your input and answers. And I will turn it back over to our Toastmaster of the day, who has apparently went to the bathroom in his closet. Thank you.
That's a good one. One of the reasons why I chose the theme, which I should have said from the beginning, was we went to a wedding 2 weeks ago in Albany, New York. And I just met the groom at our wedding, which it was in May. So I've known the groom for maybe 2 months. And so we were excited to go up to the wedding, and we were going to have a good time. This is the first time we're going to a wedding as a couple. So, hey, I'm getting some points here. This is awesome. Well, Wednesday, we get the call that the groom's best man passes away the day before. Again, that made me think we need to live life to the fullest because you never know what tomorrow brings. So I don't mean to take the mood down, but it does make you put a different perspective as far as live life to the fullest because you never know what tomorrow is going to bring. I want to bring up Scott to give us times on the table topics, please.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, so for Vicky, we had 1 minute and 55 seconds. And for myself, 1 minute, 38 seconds. Dylan, 2 minutes, 48 seconds. And Lamima, 1 minute, 29 seconds. Good job, everybody. Thanks, Chad. Thank you.
We need to do best table topic. So can we send, I guess it's on Lamima and Valencia online. Well, DeAndre's online as well too, and we don't have that as well too, so. Okay, well, I'll just give this to everybody. I'll take a picture of it and make sure that we text it and send it to everyone because the questions were awesome and the answers were even better. First evaluator, Mr. DeAndre. Can you step up to the mic and tell us, how'd that go?
Thank you. Yes, I'm evaluating Jake. Jake, you did a good job. Thanks for stepping up. I know my first time was really hard. I might have did 3 minutes. So yeah, you passed. You tripled mine. No, good job, Jake. And I like how you introduced it. With the turkey farm where you guys grew up on, and provide to all those stores, and and you still got you guys still do it. So I definitely appreciated that. And then where you went from there. You would say you went to school, you graduated in 2013 and got offered a job. So definitely can see like the progression that you were going and that you weren't, settling for less. That 28,000, I'm glad you turned that down, moved up to, a higher paying salary. So that was good to hear. And, and like how your job told you about the public speaking, that was good. So that's a good place to be. Your job wants to see you grow. So I was appreciative. And your eye contact was great. We can see it on Zoom. I don't know if everybody else could see. I see you looking around the room and, looking at everybody while you were talking. And also when you said, you had a baby, after you got married 3 months later and you put your hands on your head. So I can definitely relate to that. You're overwhelmed. You did it, but I can see it, in your facial expression. So that was really good. No, I mean, other than that, you did a good job. I know you said so and, a few times when you're pausing a little bit. I still do it. But overall, I think you did good. So I think you could work on, your life. So maybe a little bit less notes and talk to the crowd more. And at the end, wrap it up and finish, a conclusion about, what you talked about and how your life went. But other than that, no, I think you did a great job and, definitely love hearing your story.
Let me tell you how special that evaluation was. DeAndre's in the car giving the evaluation. That's some good stuff. So we appreciate that. Scott, did you take time on that?
1 minute, 48 seconds.
Okay. Scott said you did 1 minute and 48 seconds. DeAndre, give him a round of applause, please. I'm nervous to ask Dylan to come up, but he's already running up here already. So, Mr. Grammarian, can you give us a report on how everything went today?
Starting with 10.
Oh, right at the top. I went in order of appearance. Ted, you did great. You had 3 so's right at the beginning. You had an okay in there. And then I announced I would be the grammarian, and I think you straightened up. So that was good. Scott came up next. He was our sergeant at arms. I think he got things a little out of order, but that was fine. Scott, man, okay?
Yeah.
And
I like all those words.
so we had a total between all of those 3, 6, 4, 3. But you did use the word of the day, so I ignored all of them.
Okay, good.
Valencia as well, when you were talking, and it is something I noticed that we all did, and I'm sure that I do too. As you were asking some of your questions or pausing to think, you would stop and then transition to the next thing. So you would say, and really long, or you might say, have you considered that, like, and you would elongate the last word before you transition into your next thought, which is something that we could work on. And as you're listening, if we're wanting to be perfect, is something that we could improve upon. All right. So Lamima, we had 8 uhs and 1 elongated word. Jake, I think, did a fantastic job for his icebreaker speech. He had 1 well, 4 uhs, 7 so's, which was good. So's was good. And 2 long ands. Vicky, man, if they hadn't called you up here to begin with, you would have been okay. You said anyway twice. You had a but twice. And DeAndre, I really want to give you a pass because you were doing it in the car. I thought that you were driving, from what I could tell. Maybe you weren't. All those distractions caused you to have 8 6 you knows. You had the so and like in there too. But you did an excellent job because, again, we know that you're working, but we appreciate that you being an active participant and trying to help us all grow. So, excellent. Well, thank you, Ted. He's tough, isn't he?
It's tough, but this is the best part of the meeting because he's already went. So we can say so as many times as we want to right now. Lamima, General Evaluator, can you give us a rundown of how the meeting went today?
Sure can. Well, the meeting, I think, went very well. Ted, you came in with a lot of great energy, pumped us up. You started with a great story. You were loud and clear, and you gave us some encouragement as well, thinking about positivity. That was great. And even though we skipped ahead and we had to go back and do introduce roles, you were able to pivot gracefully back into that without missing a beat. So that was great on that. Scott, I heard you had to step in and at the beginning to do Sergeant at Arms. You did an awesome job with that as always. Let's just be sure to look at the screen to see who's here, because I think we missed that DeAndre was here, and so that we can ensure that his role is we have his role covered. I wanted to point out how everyone explained their roles with a lot of energy, and it just made it really interesting to hear how, every week is different in how they explain their role. And today it was just really good to hear how the energy that everybody put into talking about their roles and put their own flavor into it. And that was really nice, a different spin. Valencia, with the table topics, I like your method today of using numbers. I thought in the beginning that picking the person first or having to pick a number was kind of going to get them too prepared, but we still weren't prepared at all because the question hadn't been asked yet. But I like that way of doing it. I want to give kudos to everyone who answered because I felt as if everyone answered very well. And it seemed as though you knew the question ahead of time because the answers just were so spot on and very easy and very clear. And I am learning a lot from you guys. And so I'm hoping to get there one day. So this is good practice. And so everyone did, let's see, what other notes did I have? Everyone did a great job with that. The meeting flowed very well and everything seemed to be very relevant. The stories, Ted, that you told in between time were stuck with the theme, and great job, Dylan, for using the word of the day. Thank you very much.
I feel like you just gave us an A+ on our report card right now.
Yeah.
That was good stuff. So before I wrap this up and give it to our awesome President Dylan, I got 2 more items that I want to talk about as far as things we do good or bad, but we still live life to the fullest. And this may relate to a lot of us. lying to the doctor when they ask you about alcoholic drink consumption. And this one right here is so me. Reading directions on a box of food, throwing it in the trash, then retrieving it because you forgot everything already.
Amen.
That is me. All the guys are like, amen. Thank you for your participation, as always. This is awesome. I was thinking about this on the drive in today. What we do here is something that we can't get from our jobs. Our jobs don't help us to get better at speaking and the skills that we want to attain. And so it's awesome that we get to come together, work together, and grow together at the things that we want to get better at. So thank you all. You make me better, and I think we all make each other better. So with that said, I'm going to pass it off to our awesome president. Please welcome up Dylan Hayes.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks again, everyone, for a great meeting today. We'd like to try and do things a little bit different. We've got different setup here. We're still trying to get optimal performance on that. Actually came up with this idea from our Toastmasters training. We have training I'd encourage all of our officers to attend. We're actually a little bit ahead of the game compared to what a lot of other clubs in North Carolina are. We started back, thanks to Scott and Vicky's leadership, meeting in person several months back. I think it was towards the beginning of the year, right, that we started meeting in person or meeting in this facility. And that's caused us to get a real jump start on where other clubs are at. A lot of clubs experienced the exact same thing that we did, a dwindling of numbers because of COVID. And it sounds like a lot of them had a similar experience with a core group of people really continuing to steer the ship. And so I think that a lot of clubs have the opportunity to learn from us as we have the opportunity to learn from them as we're going through this together. So if you've not attended a training yet, it's very good, tends to be very collaborative in the way that some of the interactions are, so we can learn a lot about your role and how other clubs are approaching that specific role to help grow the club. With that said, one of the ways that I think that we can continue to grow is every single week, every single week, I work really hard. I try to get this stinking blue ribbon. And you know what I do with it?
Okay, you keep it.
I don't even end up doing anything with it, but I like it a lot. I really want to get it. But every single week, whoever the Toastmaster is says, let's take a vote. And then we don't know what we're doing. We still haven't figured it out. So I want to challenge all of you because I don't have the best ideas. I tend to take most of my ideas from other people. Let's come up with a way or a solution as to how we can award that in this hybrid environment, because I think that is something that we all strive to be. We want to compete with one another to become the best. In addition to that, one day we're going to start doing some competitions here in the club, and similarly, we'll vote on those, and we need a good way to have a voting system in place in this hybrid environment. I would like to now recognize our friend Jake. Jake, why don't you come on up here? For those that remember, Jake was asked in one of his first club meeting, Toastmasters meeting, to get up, share a little bit about himself in a tabletop speech. You remember this?
Yeah, vaguely, yes.
Yeah, do you vaguely remember it only lasted 15 seconds?
Oh, yeah. I tried to block it out.
He got up and started, people, I don't know, the question was really kind of broad, vague, wasn't really direct like Valencia's questions were today, but essentially he got up, didn't know how to answer the question, and Vicky said, well, tell us about yourself. And he said, well, getting married, yada, yada. You're having a baby, right? It's just trying to pull teeth to get him to talk. And he ended up in his icebreaker speech today going for how long?
7 minutes.
7 minutes, 4 to 6 minutes was the goal, but we didn't mind because we enjoyed listening to you talk and learning about you. We have two things for Jake today. The first is a pack of icebreakers to symbolize the fact that not only does your breath stink, but you completed your icebreaker speech. And he also receives a blue ribbon for completing his very first speech. It's a lot of work to get up here in front of everybody. You put yourself out there and share your life story. And we appreciate it. We're looking forward to hearing all about your other hobbies that you have. We appreciate you continuing to grow with it.
Good job, Jake.
If Jeffrey were here, I would imagine that he would say something to the effect of what he's working on right now is trying to engage us as Toastmasters members to serve in the Toastmaster role more effectively. The role of Vice President of Education is really difficult for one person to do on their own. And so the hope is that he's going to start reaching out and assigning folks to Toastmaster role several weeks in advance and coach people on how do you approach that role and start to put together a better meeting. Until he gets to that point where he's comfortable reaching out to people or has some sort of system in place, I'd highly encourage each of you to consider hopping online, seeing if there's an open Toastmaster spot available in the next few weeks, and sign up for it and start prepping a meeting and getting some of those things in order. And so, like, but Vicky.
I suggest that you ask Scott to kind of tell everybody what all he's doing with membership, because that's an important role. We were talking about what you've been doing with the letters.
Would you like me to do that?
Yeah, come on up, Scott. Everybody welcome Scott. Scott's got a little bit.
You're not gonna beat me with that, right?
I wasn't sure. Must have used this before or after, before I started talking or after. So.
When you close the meeting.
Close the meeting. So as I have taken on the role of membership, I have really allowed Jeffrey to kind of give me some guidance, because this last year we experienced so much growth. And so I knew I had some big shoes to fill, and I think we can always improve, but I wanted to take what he had done and definitely do at least that. And so as it is now, every new member notice that I get has been coming from Vicky. I don't know if you also get some of those, but currently I get them all from Vicky. And then within a few hours at most, I email those folks and invite them here and let them know all the details about where we're meeting, and that if they aren't able to come in person, that we can have them Zoom. And then if, 3 or 4 weeks go by and I don't hear from them, I just send them a follow-up email. Basically it's like a sales cycle. I'm not pressuring them. I'm just saying, hope they're having a good week, and inviting them to come back. And if we get a visitor, then they'll get another email that says, thanks for coming. And then, so hopefully we can move people who are initially inquiring, like we all did at one point, to actually feel comfortable and like, hey, these people really want me to come. And then we can get people to join. So anyway, I'm always open to any suggestions, so, and I copy Vicky on all of my email correspondence. So, she sees what I'm doing. And this past week, I don't think we had anybody go online. So maybe it's because it's summer. People are traveling right now. They're not really focused on joining. We also talked that maybe part of the surge last year could have been COVID coming to an end, businesses starting back up, conventions and that and the like. But anyway, that's where I'm at. Thank you. Really appreciate it.
Excellent. Great work, Scott. Valencia, do you have anything you would like to add?
I'd just like to add thank you, everyone, for allowing me to record our meeting today. This will be posted on our brand new YouTube channel, so make sure you check out meetings. Why is that important? When we're in our meeting live, we're in it. But you can watch it later and also see things that we have done well and things that we might want to work on. Maybe for your speech, you would see something that you might want to work on. As a Toastmaster, you might see something you want to work on. And the other part of it is marketing and inspiring other people to join our club. All you have to do is add that link to that email, Scott. When you're sending it out to people, give them a view of the meeting, and it can be added to any of our correspondence to members and prospects. So I'm really excited about that. And I believe that it will grow and expand our club. And for you who's watching on YouTube, please like, subscribe, and share. Thank you.
Thank you, Valencia. And do you mind giving a the name of the YouTube channel? How can we find that if we're here at the meeting today? Or
The
better yet,
Oh.
would you mind sending us that link out in a quick email after the meeting to all of our club members?
absolutely will do.
All right, like, subscribe, and share. That's how most YouTube videos end. That's how we'll end today. Thank you.